To Don Terrace from John Weaver. Diary of the Griever named John Weaver. This is dated 4/11/2023, Tuesday. It's 11:57 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, caught your vid. Just on. I came home to horrible news. Yeah, tell me something I don't already know about catching a person who's ready himself to die. This isn't easy for you to hear, Don. I know it isn't. It wasn't easy for me to deal with in the first place, and I'm still trying to go over the information. It's been 10 years since my mother died, and it's been coming up 5 years in September of this year for David. My channel is consistent regarding of the grieving and mourning because this is what I do. Now, besides being a college student, I know what it's like to lose the will to live. I know what it's like to live with a person who's lost the will to live. And it's never easy dealing with the idea of death. I mean, Don, you've got too much energy in you. I don't think God's ready to take you up just yet, but maybe. And you're going to hate to say it. You're going to hate me saying this because everyone else wants to give you positive energy, and I'm going to be the downhole. I'm going to be the downhole on this one here. It's been a while since he lost his wife. And I know you've been throwing positive energy to keep him going at this point over here. It was hard as hell for my brother to tell me about Ma and what he suspected and what he feared. And I didn't want to listen to it until the day it happened. He never did tell me, I told you so. He didn't have to. He wasn't going to. Because we were both dealing with the same thing. We were both dealing with the loss. He didn't want to deal with it. He was getting angrier and angrier at times, and I was still getting bewildered. I was trying to talk about it on my audio tapings. Trying to understand what the hell was going on. Maybe Dave was right, maybe Dave was wrong, but I was still hoping that she'd be able to get through it, but she wasn't coming. She wasn't getting any better. She wasn't getting any better. I mean, we barely got her back for Christmas. For the last hospital trip. This was back in 2012. She was fighting an infection like crazy. She had been dying of losing loved ones left and right ever since I can remember. Oh. Last day of May, I think I took a toll on her. And she lost family throughout the way. Sisters, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws. Her own mother back in 83, she took care of her for about nearly 4 years. At home with me and my brother, in and out. Well, my brother was in and out because he was in the Navy. Long story on this one here. I'll talk to you about a little bit later on that one, dude. Suffice it to say, it hit us hard. Ma harder, and she had to put up the brave face throughout the years, but her relatives kept getting less and less and less. Even the nephews and nieces. But finally, he drove the nail in the coffin was losing a favorite niece of ours who was going through a hell of a lot of health issues throughout her lifetime. And she was in her 40s. She had kids. Her kids were going to have kids. And she was loved as a daughter to my mother. Her name was Tony Ray. My brother loved her as a sister, and so did I. We wanted to take care of her at home, but we couldn't. It's not the willingness. It's ability. Funding. Housing. We kept bouncing from one place to another place, unfortunately. Got to the point where she was bouncing in and out of a hospital so much that when she died, it took my mother's heart out. And she couldn't deal with it. She just started to give up really bad. We didn't put her into a home. We made the last place we lived in, which was an apartment complex. It was a two-bedroom. We made her bedroom the hospital room. She was on a constant 24/7 oxygen. We had to be careful about some of the fumes and stuff in the house. My brother was a constant smoker, and he smoked outside. He had to. We had to chase out an Orkin guy, bug exterminator. They wanted to spray the house. We couldn't because of the fumes. We kept telling them. They wanted us to transport her out. We couldn't do that either. Didn't have the money for ambulance transportation, and the insurance wouldn't cover it. We got evicted. Bob Mile passed away before the eviction. Well, the process was started when we got the damn notice before she passed away, and then afterwards, my brother and I had to fight like crazy until we got ourselves another place to live in. I've had other videos talking about this one a great deal. But I had to say this, Don. I had to say something about this because during the time when my mother was at home, last 2 or 3 years, her health was going really downhill. My brother noticed it, and he wanted me to be prepared for it, and I kept arguing against him. I wanted to be like you, positive about it, Don, because I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified of losing my mother. I had been with her all my life, dude. All my life. I hadn't separated from the home except maybe a little bit of a camp out here and there, or a week over at YMCA as a teenager, spending a weekend at a friend's house. But beyond that, I was at home. Took care of her. She took care of me. I took care of my brother. We took care of each other. It wasn't an easy life, but we had a life. But what made it even harder, Don, it was realizing that life was going to end, and I didn't want it to end. Your doctors are different than what we have out here. Pay through insurance one way or another, and we're still not sure if we're going to get the right care or not. Get scammed one way or another. So healthcare's iffy out here. Hell, even Kaiser, you still have to fight like crazy. But my mother trusted Kaiser, my brother trusted Kaiser, so I'm with Kaiser. And I don't trust the other ones either that we have. I don't. So I know the enemy, and I have to fight them just to get the care I may need. My mother died 19th of February 2013. She was going to die the 1st in February, but the fire department fought like hell to keep her alive. And she had been on life support ever since until the 19th. My brother and I signed the paperwork, and she'd already been gone. Her body was just dying slowly. But she'd already been gone. There was nothing we could have done to her anyway during her lifetime. She was killing herself mentally. Subconsciously, she wanted to be with her family. She had a feeling that Dave and I would be okay with each other, surviving the death together because we'd be watching each other's ass, and she was right. But we were still torn apart because my brother and I could not talk about our grieving in the morning with each other. We'll talk to other strangers and other friends about it. And family members got us closed off. We're black sheep. Still are. I didn't know about my brother's death. I know my brother had stroke. Many transigamic attacks hit him before, at least a month or two before he passed away. And it was hard as hell to take him back and forth to the doctor's office, but I did. Transportation doesn't exactly help very much out here in Antelope Valley, I can tell you that much, my friend. He was barely communicative, and I had to be communicating effectively with the doctor what the hell was going on. I was his de facto caregiver. And in this apartment of mine that my brother had before I took over, this was our home right after Ma died. See, in my family, we take care of each other a great deal. We don't put them in nursing homes. We take care of them. That was a job. That was a job when we took care of our grandmother and our great aunt before the great aunt passed away. And then grandma and mom and Dave. Yeah, lifetime experience of caregiving. Being a caretaker, I hate it. I hate waking up in the morning and not realizing my family's no longer here. I had to be reminded of the ashes every single time, and this is the reason why the camera angle is always pointing over here, because it's pointing at the ashes. I have to deal with the realization. I have to deal with the realizations that my time's coming up. And I deal with day as a day. Sometimes a minute at a time, sometimes a day at a time. If I don't get emotionally triggered, I'll call it a day, I call it a win, and deal with it. And I'm constantly surrounded by death because I know about death. It's not about losing to people, Don. It's because I also died myself as a kid, 4 years old. Heart operation, open heart, crack open the chest, get mitral valves work done. Before you know it, I'm passing up and down to heaven about 3 times as they're trying to shock me back to life just to get my heart working. And God kept saying, "It ain't your time. Go back home." "I want to go home up here." No. So it's not that easy dealing with life, and definitely not easy dealing with the topic of death all the damn time. I know I didn't see any spirits or demons or anything else like that revealing any ghosts. That would have been weird. Or it would have been really putting me through the Addams Family thing. Or worse. Could have been John Constantine. No, John Constantine, JC. My first name's John, last name's middle name's Cameron. Wookie. But a little levity there, my friend. No, it's not easy dealing with a relative that's going to be hitting the road pretty shortly, because I'm wondering if mentally he's getting himself prepared for it as well. I know you want him to live, and I'm not going to take that away from you. I know the video may be saying something else, and I'm sorry. But my brother was trying to make me realize that some things you just got no power over. I'm hoping that you keep up with the positive strength concerning about your own health. I'm hoping maybe your father will be able to last a little bit longer. But I gotta suspect that his wife may be calling him. This isn't easy for me dealing with it, because I deal with the topic all the time on my channel. I deal with my own life experiences with life, with death, in between, my own observations left and right, what's been going on around me, things that may or may not affect me a great deal. I watch your videos constantly, because even the stuff that you keep going through it, and boss man upstairs must like you because you're still alive and you're still kicking. And sometimes you give me strength and hope. You give me courage. You're a good man, Don. You're a good man. I'm grateful that you're still here. I'm grateful that you're still alive right now. I'm hoping maybe one of these days, if I get the money for it, get the passport, I'll hope to take a cruise with you. Keep your positive energy going, Don. Keep thinking good thoughts about your father. Keep gathering all the positive thoughts from everybody. I'm sorry I had to be the bad news on this one myself. I'm sorry I had to be the cold water. But I've been through this before. I feel like a guy, I feel like a ghoul at this point. Only a ghoul will probably have a little bit of inner glee looking for this misery. I don't. I never like dealing with it. But eventually I'm going to have to deal with mine. And I'm going to have an argument and a discussion with both the architect of the process and not to mention the guy who carries out the process. But you, my friend, keep fighting. Keep fighting like hell, Don. I'll see you one day, my friend. I'll see you.